Stay to the end of this video because I found some footage of inside Stringbean's cabin. It's only about a minute long, but it's rare footage, and I thought I'd share with you today. Stringbean performed at the Grand Ole Opry on Saturday night. This would have been November 10th, 1973. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard a rumor that every time he would leave his property, he would tie a string across the driveway. Again, I don't know for sure. But when he and Estelle got home, for some reason, String was spooked and sensed that somebody was inside the cabin. Well, he gets out of the car and he gets his pistol out of the trunk. So he enters the cabin with the pistol in his hand. The two Browns, who were cousins, lie in wait. There was a struggle, and then shots were fired. String fell to the floor, and then the killer finished him off. And I think John Brown was the shooter. Estelle was outside, and she was terrified, and she got out of the pea green 1974 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, just scared to death. She started to run away, and John Brown shot her in the shoulder, causing her to fall to her knees. And then Brown ran up to her and grabbed her purse. She actually begged for her life, and he shot her in the head anyway. Why is this animal out on parole is beyond me. Early the next morning, this would be November the 11th, 1973, Grandpa Jones drove this route. I believe it was this route. It's less than 2 miles away, and it takes about a 3-minute drive. I've actually measured it myself. Over to Stringbean's. They had plans on a hunting trip. As Grandpa got closer, he noticed there was no smoke coming from the chimney, so he sensed something was wrong. As he pulled into the drive, he saw what he thought was clothing next to the long driveway towards the cabin. It was actually Estelle, and she was laying there deceased, and the dew had settled early that morning, and there was actually frost on her body. Again, this is November in the fall. Stringbean was found lying inside the front door. His arm was outstretched, and his hand had the grip as though he was holding a gun, which the killers took from his hand. The cabin had been ransacked and the phone lines cut. The only thing they got away with was some of String's guns, a chainsaw. That was it. They couldn't find any money. They didn't know that almost $3,000 was in Stringbean's bib overalls, and about $2,000 was in Estelle's bra. They completely missed that. Then years later, I read where about $15,000 was found behind the fireplace. A lot of it was chewed on by mice. Okay, now I'm going to put my drone up in the air, see more. This is a beautiful part of the country. It's in Ridgetop, Tennessee. It took me some time to find a location because the house out front kept throwing me off. And I always heard that house is Grandpa Jones's house, but that's not the case. He lived down the road. Back behind is the cabin. It's about 800 square feet. I was glad to finally find it. Stringbean lived, and Estelle lived a very frugal life. They say he didn't believe in banks. However, they did find 7 bank books of savings accounts, which totaled about $500,000. This is location. This driveway is where Grandpa Jones drove down this driveway, found Estelle firs covered in frost. That's my vehicle out there on the road. And again, a beautiful part of the country. Now I'm going to bring in some rare video of inside the home. The person in this video now owns the property.
Estelle was shot running down the driveway, found about right here in the morning, face down in the grass. When Grandpa Jones walked in the next morning, he found his best friend shot to death laying right here, his arm outstretched, that classic string bean salute. You can see right here where 2 bullet holes were shot in the floor. The holes were cut out and sent to Quantico for forensic testing and patched up here.
Now I want to show you on Google Maps where Grandpa Jones lived. He lived at 1914 Springfield Highway, Goodlettsville, Tennessee. And if you zoom down here along Highway 11, which is Springfield Highway, and if you come down on this house, you can see the swimming pool. Looks like a banjo. And let's go down and take a look at the entrance of the... We'll go down to the driveway and take a look at what the gate looks like. This gate says Rocky Top, and I just can't tell what the bottom word is. But here's the house. Grandpa Jones or Ramona built it in 1959. It's a beautiful house. It's 2,533 square feet. Now we'll go back and take a look at how close it actually was to a Stringbean's place. Right there's Stringbean Shack. And if you look in drone footage, it's behind this house here. And remember, I parked my vehicle about right here so I can see the home. Okay, thanks for watching the video. Hope you learned something interesting. And I look forward to doing another video for you. And I'll see you at the top.